All right, so we're recording now. We're on the record. Hey, everybody. This is Roberto Blake of RobertoBlake.com helping you create something awesome today. So today, this is the first ever Create Awesome Live. This is a live Twitter chat. So there is Twitter chat stuff going on. There are messages and questions going out that you can answer in Twitter with hashtag Create Awesome Live or hashtag Create Awesome. I want to introduce my co-host today, Jason Leibman of Leibsmedia. How are you doing, Jason?
Doing great. How you doing today, Roberto?
I'm doing awesome as per usual. And again, thank you. Big ups to Jason, who is actually helping with the email marketing for Create Awesome and is actually helping me, trying to keep me accountable to make sure I'm creating awesome for you guys who are subscribed to the Create Awesome community newsletter. I want to thank our rotating panel. Our first two guests for the show tonight are Aline Smith and Jason Mesner, two fans. So we're going to be rotating people out. The first question for the evening is, what are your biggest marketing challenges as a creative? I'm going to ask everybody here to answer that question. Feel free to answer it in the comment section, and also feel free to answer it over in Twitter. And if I don't get to you tonight through the actual live stream, I'll try and hit you guys up in Twitter tonight or tomorrow, and I might even do it with a video response. So everybody, we'll start with you, Jason, and then we'll go to you, Aline, and then to you, Jamie. What are your biggest marketing challenges as creatives? Go.
I want to say that I have none because I do marketing, but a lot of, but realistically, it's usually the human element. Like, you can work with data and statistics and stuff that you receive so much, but at the end of the day, you're dealing with real people, and that's always going to be a variable. So you have to work out those relationships, and it's not just going to be an exact science and just pick up. I'm trying to be concise.
That is definitely a challenge, and it's one that I can relate to. Aline, what about you?
Okay, first, I just wanted to clarify, and I know my name is a little confusing, but it's Eileen. And it's okay. And I do YouTube, and I have a blog, basicblogtips.com. And also, I think for me, the challenge is with being able to focus on a specific task, because you have all these different social networks. And then, like I said, I do blogging, I do YouTube, I also do some podcasting. So I find it to be a challenge. I also have a full-time job. So,
oh, wow, that's a lot.
So juggling all of that stuff, it does get to be a challenge. I deal with it, but it's challenging.
Awesome. What would you say? How do you deal with it? I have a question about that. How do you deal with it?
Well, one thing that really became helpful for me was when I actually got some help. My daughter, she actually has a web design business. And so one day I just said to her, can you get somebody on your team to help me out, like with my YouTube thumbnails and, just helping me even craft some of my emails for my, for my email list. And that just, it was like a weight lifted off of me, because I didn't have to worry about, I got to get this thumbnail together and all that. So getting help for something.
Getting help, outsourcing your weaknesses.
Right, because some things you absolutely can't outsource. You can't outsource your podcast. You can't outsource your YouTube videos.
No,
but,
you really can't.
Things like making a thumbnail, and then you have to let go of being, the control freak and just say, it's okay. It's just a thumbnail.
Awesome. So that's something I'm struggling with as far as getting help. And that's why I reached out to Jason. Was I know about email marketing, but I need a little help with some things. So I reached out to Jason, and then, we started working together on that. And, it's awesome to have that help. So Jamie, what are some of your challenges? I know that you're a young podcaster. You're in the space. So great to have a young person like you crushing it. What are some challenges you're facing, though?
Some of my challenges being a young teenage podcaster is just to get people to listen to you. People who know me from this community, Blab, know that I have some very strong opinions, but just getting new people to listen to you, and because usually you can look at a 14-year-old and go, hey, what is this kid going to tell me about so-and-so subject? So Just getting people to say, hey, I may be 14, but I have some pretty good opinions and you should listen. That's the hardest thing, is getting people to understand how a 14-year-old can bring value to even conversations like this about how to market things.
I believe that everybody, has value, and I think that people who underestimate you are they're leaving stuff on the table. They might lose the game, because the thing is, you're not going to be 14 forever, and not taking the opportunity to take you seriously, see what you have to say and how you're thinking, is going to cost them something when you become 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and then when they really do care about you, it's too late. They had that opportunity to invest in a relationship with you early on, and they made the mistake of not doing that and not taking you seriously, or they undervalued the fact that you might have had an insight. Look, we've got a 17-year-old who recently sold some lead to Yahoo for millions of dollars. I'm sure at your age, he still was a brilliant kid and was able to create value and give some people some advice. People who listened to him probably benefited and probably have a good relationship with him now. So I think there's a missed opportunity there. But thank you both for coming in and answering the question. I'm going to rotate you guys out now and see if we can get somebody else on board.
I just wanted to tell you real quick, you had a little typo, and I can't change it if you kick me out. So don't kick me out yet. I'm going to fix the typo, and I just fixed it. And thanks so much for having me in there. And I'll talk to you. You have forgotten E in awesome. That's okay, though.
Oh.
I got you straight, honey. All right.
Appreciate it.
It's great to meet you, Roberto. Great to meet you, Jason. And
Nice to
Jamie.
meet you.
Jamie, we'll be blabbing again a little later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You in the Blab verse. Guys, it was really nice just to get to know you guys, and I'm sure we'll connect. I follow you guys both on Blab, so we will connect. And nice to see you guys, and nice to see you guys.
Awesome. In the comments over there, make sure you're leaving everybody a link to your podcast so that all the sports fans out there can check you out, Jamie. Guys, go ahead
You
and
can do it live on Blab.
follow here on Blab, and then make sure you're checking out his sports podcast for you sports fans out there. So, that's definitely going to be cool. Jason Horton, how are you? No problem. Jason Horton, how are you doing today, my friend?
I just wanted an excuse I just got this shirt in the mail, so I wanted an excuse to wear it, and I don't know where else. My fiance won't let me wear it in public, so this is the only place I feel safe that I could wear this shirt. So I wanted to cash in on that.
Nice. Awesome. Great to have you here. And Armit, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Excellent.
All right, so
Good.
you guys, did you guys want to chime in on what your challenge in marketing yourself as creatives are? Do you also want to go ahead real quickly and tell everybody in the audience what you guys do?
Sure. Jason, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. My name's Jason Horton. I do YouTube is kind of my hub. I live in LA, so I do a lot of traditional stuff like writing and acting, but youtube.com/Jason Horton. And so when I market stuff or whatever, it's not, I don't sell business type stuff. It's this is the product. So in my videos, I incorporate products or my social media. It's the experience of me and my comedy, but it's still, I still want a bigger audience, and how do I reach them? So it's all the same thing, but that's kind of my jam.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been following your stuff, Jason. I know we communicate in several communities online, so that's awesome. Yep. Armit. Am I pronouncing that right?
AM first.
AM. Amrit. Okay.
So my name's Amrit Singh. I'm a creative designer from the UK. I have been in the creative industry for 13 years. I had my own design studio for 4 years. I've worked with Apple, Empower, TEDx. I've worked with quite a few design agencies and big companies. I freelance around the world. At the moment, I'm head of design for a housing company, so I work in the marketing team. So I'm in charge of the collateral, advertisements, print, magazine designs around the UK. However, I'm based in the marketing department, so I know a lot about marketing now. I wouldn't class myself as a marketeer, though, but you do pick up quite a lot by working in the marketing department. Let's put it that way. That's me.
So what would you guys say are your challenges, if any? What are your marketing challenges as creatives?
One of the examples is I do, YouTube is my thing, and reaching out to blogs is something I do a lot. I just got a new video picked up Huffington Post, Pop Sugar, Bustle, a lot of big like kind of because it's Facebook in real life, so it reaches a little bit of like the tech social media and then also comedy,
media outlets. Yeah.
So I've kind of hit two markets, but also if I do videos and then I have another video 2 days later about like kind of trying not to cannibalize my own promotion of my stuff, because I don't want to like every single day like promote my videos, but I want to do a huge thing, but I don't want like a short amount of time going like, guys, I'm back again to bother you with another video, or reach out to like more blog people like, yeah, man, you just heard for your one video, and try not to cannibalize my videos promotion wise.
So I would argue that actually you're dealing with something that a lot of creatives struggle with, which is also the perception of marketing as a negative versus the perspective of creating awesome creative value. So in a way, by holding back, you're actually like these blog outlets. A lot of times people don't realize how starved for content, good content, they are.
I know it is, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm just a very polite person. I feel like I feel like I'm bothering people, even though like I want results. And I know
that's my same problem with the email marketing that Jason like has to beat me up about is, Roberto, why are you not sending out more like stuff, more content for the emails? Because we don't do email blasts. We do content. We do it almost like a blog post. It's like, Roberto, why are you not sending anything out this week? It's like, I sent something out 2 weeks ago. I don't want to bug people. Like, Roberto. So Jason has to beat me up a little bit about that.
I'm too far away to actually beat him up. There's no abuse in this relationship. I just want to get that out there. But yeah, I've dealt with that too. Just trying to get publicity for different companies I've worked for and stuff like that. They don't want to hear from you. It's kind of like you're dealing with this new school type of way of seeing, of like putting out content and doing things in that way. And they have sometimes a more like traditional view on how their content schedules go out and how many hands are involved with like choosing what gets done and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it goes back to developing relationships with certain people that work for the sites that you want to get on and stuff like that to get your videos out there. And so maybe taking a step back and doing the research if you want to approach it nicer, as you would say. And target.
What's your input on this? And like, what challenges are you seeing as a creative, either for yourself or for people you've worked with?
Well, okay, I'll give you two examples. In the companies that I work with, marketing is very, very interesting. Main thing is getting over the fact that when people put their guards up when you're trying to promote something to them. And that's very, very interesting. People tend to, so for instance, when I was working with Apple, people don't like to be sold anything, okay? And so we had to kind of work around a way to approach them with a brilliant product, but on a personal level. And it's the same thing with the housing company. I work in social housing now. And it's always about how do we develop something to like a product or a service or a magazine to a very conservative market and increase the design, but not chase them away at the same time. So there's a big challenge in that. So I'm a designer myself. I've had to literally rip up the brand guidelines, and I'm really lucky that the company has let me do this. The company's going around for 100 years, and they've let me rip up the brand guidelines and start from scratch. And I was like, yes, because the brand guidelines were horrible. Yeah. And so my challenge was, as someone in marketing, is how to incorporate a brand new color scheme, nice fonts, a nice kind of design identity to the company without scaring away the tens of thousands of members in marketing. Yeah, exactly. So it's always about kind of drip feeding information, drip feeding colors, slowly, a little bit at a time. That's the problem with conservative people and conservative audience, is that they will get scared. So every audience is very, very different. Now, take it personal. In my like, I freelance for companies around the world. I use social media like Periscope quite a lot. I live paint to do design and branding on Periscope. In fact, I actually did an artwork live on Periscope just now, this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just now. That was actually
impressive.
More than a lot of people do on Periscope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very cool. So in my tent, I've been taking my branding. So I go to universities every single year and critique final year students' work, design students. And the biggest problem that they have is that they've got all this skill, they've got a lot of knowledge, but they have no idea how to brand themselves. They have no idea how to market themselves. Biggest problem at the moment. And unfortunately, the education system doesn't teach you that. They give you
You're right. It's my pet peeve.
Exactly.
It's my pet peeve.
It really annoys me. Yeah. So I know personally, right, when I focused on my personal branding from a company which I had to Mr. Racing. So Mr. Racing is my branding now. And as soon as I focused on my branding, on my kind of name, my skill, my targeted niche audience, and not just everything. So I wasn't talking about, I don't know, the technology, a chicken, and the microwave. It was a targeted group. So it was like creative design, marketing, tech, branding, art, and wherever it is. So people knew exactly, if they were following me on all social medias, that they would get targeted advice. And I think I had my Twitter increase like doubled to 12K in like 3 months because of that. So it's targeted. So
that's exactly my approach as well, as you probably know by now.
Yeah. And it's brilliant. I mean, like, obviously with your shirt, you've got consistency, you've got that Mac in the background. I'm sure that's placed there for a right reason. So it's a talking point as well. So everything that you have, I like having a talking point behind
it.
So
no, even the everything as far as my desk, everything from like, you know, the other tools that I'm using, the hard drives, the stuff, the always be creating mug, more merchandising there. You know, everything. It's like, it's all purposeful. There was a design. I literally kind of did set design for my videos. It's like, even for the book reviews I'm getting ready to do, my bookshelf, I reorganized my entire bookshelf with design in mind and with purposeful intent. It is all one, visually, but yes, also a marketing intention behind a lot of it. So yes, it's very nuanced, and you know, it's great to hear somebody else think of it that way. So
it has to, you know, it has to be done. I mean, so every live streaming or interview I've done on Google Hangout, everything, I've made sure that the camera is placed perfectly on either books with advertising, paper samples, so G.F. Smith, everyone here, or an illustrator, which I really like. And it's a great talking point because people want to know. So what they always ask, what books are you into? What marketing books, design books are you into? So I can say straight away, you've got Small in the Mind, you've got design books, you've got graffiti books, you've got Banksy books, you've got all these cool books behind me. I'm inspired by quite a lot, which is around me. But one of the biggest tips I give every single person, the 22 people who are watching this, is brand yourself consistent. Keep it consistent, especially on social media, right? Create awesome, be awesome. Have a similar profile picture on all social medias, so they know as soon as you pop up on a new social media, they recognize your profile picture, because it's about visual identity. Have a good bio. A good bio is really important. But on top of that, guys, learn to use social media properly. Don't just use an app which shares the exact same content 4 ways.
Exactly. Don't just be there to be there. That's why I decided, you know what, this will be if I'm going to do a Twitter chat and I'm going to do a show, why not just go ahead and combine them, and why not, like, you know, make it more interactive that way and do it live and make that live value there, and then leverage a new platform that allows me to bring in guests, make new connections, grow the community, double down on the community I have, and give people who've been interacting and been fans of me an opportunity to see me face to face and also to ask me questions and interact with me in a new way. So it's very different than Google Hangouts on air in that regard, and I think it's better. But I want to thank both of you for joining me tonight. And I also want to invite both of you to reach out to me after this. I want to have both of you individually as guests on my podcast, but also on a Google Live Hangout on Air thing. And I want to have you guys back as just one-on-one guests in like Blab at some point. But we're going to go ahead and rotate you guys out. But thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Rich.
And make sure you're following Amrit and Jason in social media and here in Blab. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to question number 2 for the evening. We actually only have 4 questions this evening, and I'm going to probably figure out how I want to do these and like set up timers and things to be a little better. But question number 2 is, are you an introverted or extroverted creative? Jason, this is a...
Are we going to wait for other people to come in?
Are you going to answer this question, Jason?
Or am I going to answer it now?
I think that the audience would like you to answer this one personally.
No, I know, but you just have a big grin on your face. I saw it on the Twitter stream as question 2, and I knew you'd be excited. I'm personally both.
We've got 2 seats open, by the way, people.
I like to be more extroverted. I like to be more extroverted when I'm taking in things that'll become almost like the material for my creative process. When it comes to marketing stuff, you know, I need to like get out there and get to more social events or places where people are gathering, and kind of observe, but also be part of the conversation at the same time. When it comes to things like my writing, or my photography or making videos or any of those things. Again, I need to get out into the world and like, you know, if it's for like micro photography that I do on Instagram, you know, I need to find new plants or stuff like that around my neighborhood. I guess I might be more introverted, but basically I take all of that and I come back in to the office studio, whatever it's called these days, and whatever it's transformed into at the hour. And I like to work alone when I do that stuff. So I'll sit at my desk and be more introverted and like drill in and do that stuff. At the same time, though, like, again, I'm just going to keep going back and forth between the two because they are on a spectrum and I fluctuate throughout the whole thing. But, you know, I also love working collaboratively. But again, that's more, as you know, because we work collaboratively together. But again, you've probably been seeing from us working together, it's a lot of the extroversion. Oh, my hands are down there. It's a lot of the extroversion when we're like together and planning and discussing and getting on the same vibe or the same page or whatever you want to call it, with the vision. And then it's like break and do your work individually. Because I don't think you're going to be efficient being extroverted and, you know, sitting at your desk working. There's a time and place for all of it is kind of how I see it.
I would say mine's very similar. It's that when I'm extroverted, I'm very extroverted. And when I'm introverted, I'm very introverted. And I go through a cycle of both every day and every week. And I preface that with saying that, like, when you see me out in the world at networking and marketing events, when I engage with people, I go all in. I go all in full tilt. And then when I'm at home and I'm doing my work, I am a hermit. I'm doing that. But then when I'm in social media, because that's like being out in the world as well, I present very extroverted in that way out in the world on these live streams, which is the real me. It's just me, you know, at scale that way. But it's my real personality. And it's because it's like, well, this is, for me, there's almost no difference between the interaction in the virtual world and in the real world. And I take it seriously to that regard. And it's the consistency in everything I do. It's that I acknowledge people the same way I would if I met them in a club, in a room, or a house, or a street, whatever it is. I acknowledge people the same way. I give them the respect of that acknowledgement, that time. I treat people politely. You know, I engage with them, and that's fine. And then, but when I'm turning everything off and I'm locking in and I'm grinding for 4 hours straight of shooting nothing but videos, I'm dead to the world. I'm sitting here, I'm a hermit. It's me and Nikki, meaning my Nikon camera. I call my Nikon camera Nikki. That's just something I do. And so it's just us grinding away, making our videos, and that's it.
Now I'm thinking of a name for my Canon. Wink. We could have that whole battle now too.
You can call it Candy.
I'm not gonna take the name from a Nikon.
But yeah, so you know, that's just you know, something I do. But the point is, it's like, yes, there are moments where I can be very introverted, but it's not that. It's more when I get to the point of I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to get outside of myself and I'm going to interact. I'm going to interact. And I'm going to go deep. And I'm going to go all in. And that's what it is. And I do that more often than not. But there are moments where I don't feel, and it's not that I feel shy, it's that I don't feel like I can sustain the energy that my maximum effort of an interaction takes. So if I can't bring 110%, or I'm not feeling it, or I'm not in a good mood that day, I just don't bother interacting with people when I'm having a down day or a low energy day. So when I'm up, I'm up. And when I'm down, I'm down. And that's my answer to that.
So just to throw a question back at you on the same vein, where would you, like, outside of your creative process, which side of the fence would you put yourself on just naturally?
It's the same thing because I don't differentiate, because I'm in that weird place where I'm, and for a while now I've been in that place where for me it's all, you know, one thing. There's like even the line, and I'm trying to figure that out. There's almost no line between my personal and professional life because I've gone all in, because my philosophy in business is my philosophy in life, which is create awesome things, share them with the world, create experiences, create value. It's all one thing for me. So the thing is, I don't have the distinction that other people have, or the line in the sand, because most people, they either have a day job or they have a separate business from their personal brand. For me, it's much more integrated. And I kind of feel very comfortable with that because it allows me to be myself and be holistic. So I'm me all the time. you know, and that's
like what Amrit was just saying, is that you need to find a way to take yourself and, you know, define that, put it into a package and create a brand out of that. I know I've heard that both at VidCon when I was there, and a lot of the panelists and people were saying, like, be yourself, but like create a character version of yourself.
See, I didn't do that. I just went all in on this. It's no caricature.
Oh, you did, but
I know.
but the point I'm getting at is that it also reminds me of like what I learned in what's it called in my English classes in college and stuff, was that they I'm trying to read the comments and speak at the same time. This is difficult. Is that they say, like, even if you're going to write about something personal, it's never about the author itself. It's about the character in your story.
Oh, we got another guest tonight. Speaking of characters and stories, we've got Wayne.
Enter player 3. Go, Wayne.
Yeah, player 3. Wayne, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. You're actually loud and clear. Yeah. Great to have you on. And I'm pronouncing your name correctly, right? Wayne Hatter?
Absolutely. Like Wayne's World and the Mad Hatter.
I love it. Wearing cool guy hat. Yeah, we both got cool guy hats. That's awesome.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. So I want to bring you in partly for, one, I want you to introduce yourself, but then I want to also bring you in for question 3, which is, do you feel creatives dislike self-promotion and marketing? And I also want you guys in the comments to be answering this question as well. As creatives, do you dislike self-promotion and marketing for whatever reason? Oh, we got a third cool guy hat. Now I look up and we got a third cool guy hat. And also remember, we've got a Twitter. We've got live tweeting happening. # Create Awesome Live or Create Awesome. So make sure you're answering the questions there as well so I can hit you guys up. But yeah, what do you think?
That's a great question, because I would say 2-3 years ago, as being a creative, right, I was so apt to not, promote myself because I didn't feel that I was good enough, or, it was a sin to market or to sell, right? But now I think that it's crucial that you tell people about what you do, because if people don't know about what you do, then how will they know what you do? It's pretty much just that simple, right? So I'm all about promoting yourself and, telling people, telling the world about what you do, because
tell your story.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's something that you have that can help somebody else. And if you don't let people know, then you're pretty much cheating the, other people who are looking for what you do. You're cheating them into the experience that will help and change their lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might be robbing them of value.
Absolutely. And people just need to know. And I don't spam. Now that's a whole different story. You don't go out spamming. You just tell a story. You just tell people why you do what you do, why, this or that shouldn't be that way. Like, my niche and my expertise is WordPress, right? So I'm always selling, I'm never really selling. I'm more educating with what I do, because when you educate people, it gives them a sense of ease within inside of themselves. And it's better for them to make, calculated decisions on what step that they need to take next, So I love educating. That's what I do. I love educating. I love for people to understand, because once they understand, it makes it that much better. Like I said before, it makes it that much better for them to move forward, And
then we can actually, once we both have the same level or a similar basis of understanding for something, then we can have better conversations, because now I tell designers all the time that, look, you might be a designer, but learn a little bit of basic coding so that when you have to work with a web designer, you guys can speak the same language, and you don't have to feel insulted like they're dumbing things down for you, and they don't have to be frustrated with the fact that you're not delivering on something in the way that they need it. You can collaborate better, and you have more respect and empathy. And I tell coders, hey, learn about typography and learn visual design and color theory, so that one, you can take some things like on yourself, but then when you work with a designer, you won't be double questioning why things are done the way that they're done. So I say that in any situation, education and in marketing from the platform of education has tremendous value in the fact that we can have better conversations. I agree with you, and I do a lot of that, obviously, but I want to ask you about, and you partially answered this, it's question 3B. Do you feel that being uncomfortable with marketing hurts creatives? And I'll ask both of you that.
I think it can. I think it can, because it pigeonholes them, right? It, sort of speak, it pushes them in the corner, because if they don't understand on why they need to market and they feel that they just have to market, then it becomes a burden. But once they understand that they need to market in order to sell, in order to get the word out on what they do, which kind of goes back to my original answer, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you have to get comfortable with marketing, even if you're not. You don't really have a choice. That's
Derek
just
Sharp is saying that he feels like a lot of designers would rather just focus on their art, and I think that a lot of them probably do feel that way. Yeah. But even as a designer or an artist myself, I would say that's a mistake. I would say that it's a mistake, because if you create the greatest thing in the world and it's sitting on the shelf and it's not being talked about, if it's not being, if I go into Best Buy, the best TV on the shelf that no one's talking about may not be the one that I buy. So I might just buy the cheapest thing there, or I might buy what I see the other guy buying instead of buying the best thing on the shelf, because I have no idea that it's there. Especially if it's in the back room somewhere being obscured. It's the best thing in the store, and no one's telling me that, and no one's helping me. And if it's your product, why would you want me to get the second best product? Why would you want me to get the third best, the fourth best? If you're the best, you're kind of cheating me out of having the best possible experience I have. Even if you're not the best designer in the world, maybe you're the nicest guy or gal in the world, and you're letting me deal with some pretentious, czar of taste or artiste that is going to just beat me up emotionally and make me feel bad as a client, when I could be working with you and give you my money to have a great experience instead of having a mediocre one with somebody else who just marketed better than you. So, I'd say that's
absolutely.
I think you hit the nail on the head there too. I've just been thinking while you guys are talking about this one line from one of my favorite poems by Marianne Williamson, I think is the our deepest fear is the whole, it's not that we are inadequate, it's that we are powerful beyond measure. There's that one line in it that says, I'm just doing it off of memory, so I'm going to get it wrong, but it's like there's nothing good about shrinking so that other people don't feel small.
That's an excellent point.
And that is that like a mind blow and then drop your mic?
We've got Austin Giuliano. Hey, Giuliano. Okay, I can't tell the difference between an I and an L with this, how small this thing is. But yeah, no. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
You're not Zach Frank.
You're a Gary fan.
Yeah. Create Awesome Live. We're doing marketing advice for creatives. What's your take on whether being uncomfortable with marketing hurts creatives? And also tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. I'm the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm a marketer and I sell shit all day long. But I cannot design to save my life. I have a partner who's an excellent designer.
Me.
I'm always looking for more creatives because I will sell it for twice what you're asking for, and I make a lot of profit and don't have to do the work.
Well, there you go. So all of you creatives out there, make sure you're hitting Austin up then, because he's going to get you work.
Well, this is something that I think, since you're obviously a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, I'm very big into strengthening some of your weaknesses. Like, we all need to be better at selling ourselves. That is a must. Mm-hmm. That being said, there are a lot of creatives who are excellent executioners and are very talented, but when it comes to being able to sell what they have, they just don't have it. So I think we need to look at what our strengths are and find a partner who can sell. My partner is one of the best designers I have ever found. And so I sell her work all day long, right? I never attempt to do it, but it's taken me years to understand how to sell it and what is her capabilities and pricing and things like that. So I think while we need to learn how to sell better, I think we also need to know what is our strengths. If you're a phenomenal designer, find a great salesman to sell your design skills, and then take your design skills to the next level. Yeah, exactly. You absolutely have to be able to sell yourself, when push comes to shove, because you have to sell yourself to the marketer, why it makes sense for them to sell what you do, and you have to be an excellent communicator. But really, if you are all about being a creative, be a creative and hang out with other creatives, push your creative to the next level, and then find somebody to sell it, because people will always sell it. People will always be able to come in and see it. If I see you're pricing a website at $2,000, right, and I am looking at your websites, I'm like, these are amazing, you're undercharging, this is literally a $6,000 to $8,000 website, I'll go to the client, I'll sell it for $6,000 to $8,000, I'll give you the $2,000, you'll be ecstatic, and I'll be walking out with $4,000 just because I know how to sell it. Now it's a win-win for both people, because do you honestly care if I make $4,000 off of it if you're making your $2,000? Most people don't. You know, Jason, you're shaking your head a little bit.
I'm shaking my head a lot because I'm also the other marketer in the room.
A little bit, because like I agree with you in principle, but that execution like ruffles me just a little bit. But I know what you
a little bit, because I would have.
But I'll be honest, it's exactly what agencies do. I came from the agency world. I worked at an agency. That's exactly what we did in the agency world, and it wasn't my call to do that per se. And my deal with my creatives might be a little different, but that's also because I'm going to own my thing as far as the fact that I'm slightly romantic where protecting my creatives are concerned, but I'm also a businessman, and I also have that mentality. So, you know, from that end of it, of absorbing, one, the responsibility of the business, the marketing, client, the risk, and letting them sit in their shell if that's what they want to do, what am I going to do? And then, so yes, the split would be very interesting there, and it is whenever I'm in those situations, but I pride myself on the fact that I try to be fair, but it also means being fair to me if I'm going to do the heavy lifting and you're doing exactly what you were already doing at the value that you were doing it, then me giving you 20 or 30% more than you were thinking that you're worth is huge for you, regardless of what my markup is. So I get where you're coming from there.
Sure. I'm not against paying more for very good talent. You absolutely have to do that. Sorry for cutting you off, Jason.
You're fine.
I'm used to it because I just, no, I'm kidding. Entirely kidding. No, I'm
just checking comments here because we've got
one of those people that's in between both being the creative and being the sales and marketing person, right? So, but my big thing, again, being a fan of Gary Vee and listening to a lot of other people, is about relationship building. So if I was in your position and I was finding somebody who's a creative looking for $2,000 for their work, and you're going to mark it up by $4,000, take the $4,000, I'd rather see you. That sounds short term to me. That's the only reason why I disagree with it, because I'd rather see someone like you build a relationship with that person, give them an extra $1,000 on top, and you continually keep splitting it. That's just the way I approach things. That's the mentality I'm coming from. So I'm a little.
It's an interesting thing because I'm right in between both of you on that, because I'm literally there. I'm actually the creative, but then the marketer and the business person. So for me, I'm like, you're the devil and the angel on my freaking shoulder right now.
And Mr. Wonderful is here.
For a moment, I was like, do we have the actual Mr. Wonderful in the room? Because I know this will be very rogue very quickly.
Mr. Wonderful, not the Mr. Wonderful. Sorry, I haven't met you, but I had to make that joke. Your mic is not coming through, though. I can't hear him. Can anybody else?
We can't hear you.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Wonderful, we can't hear you. Yeah, your mic's out.
Check the headphone.
Yeah, we'll wait for you to. We'll keep going while you sort that out. But as soon as you sort that out, definitely let us know. But yeah, I love this topic, so we'll revisit it and we'll invite Austin back to cover this topic in depth. But I want you to stay on the panel here, Austin.
At all, even though we disagree on things at all.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, I don't really disagree. But like,
it was all up until you said that you were gonna do that markup and not give them a dime more than
is your
I didn't say I wasn't going to give them a dime more.
Like,
okay, all right, let me rephrase that. You took the opportunity, you did the sale, but you didn't do the education side of letting them know that they're more valuable than what they were asking for. Because then I think both of you could have asked for even more than $6,000.
Well, I think he may not have just clarified that, because he might have been going like more like, and I'll let you clarify. Like, is that where you were going, Austin, or did you just like not contextually add that?
One, I didn't contextually add that. I was putting a
scenario
out there. You know,
okay.
if somebody, here's another thing too. There's many facets to this. It's not just are they worth $2,000 for their website. There's something called wealth consciousness. There's a lot of creatives I've worked with where I've given them more money because they are very talented and they can't handle it. Money is just a form of energy exchange. If you don't think you're worth that extra money, then you can't handle it if someone were to give it to you. If somebody were to give you $1 million right now and you don't think you're worth being a millionaire, you will lose all that money very rapidly. Right? Mm-hmm. You have to bump up your worth.
I know that right now I don't have the capacity to operationally deal with $1 million all at once right now. I know that my capacity right now, because I've kind of done a test for myself, would be $250,000 up front, or even at most $500,000 becomes dangerous for me, because the thing is, I literally ask myself, how would I spend that money and what would I spend it on? And the thing is, infrastructure wise, for what I need to accomplish even in the next year, $1 million is too much money on the table to accomplish what I need to. So then I have more hassle of trying to spend that money effectively, and it becomes more problematic than anything. And the thing is, I would then have to shift goals to scale to that, but that would then mean too much scale too fast too soon, because I would burden myself operationally. And even throwing money at the outsourcing, I know that the time it takes to build the relationships of trust for that kind of money going out the door, I don't have enough investment in time and the relationship to justify that, if you know what I mean. So operationally, I know $1 million today breaks me operationally. Instead of being a plus, it becomes a negative. So I know exactly what you're saying there. The other thing is, the ego involved in creativity could mean that that person then starts too rapidly overvaluing themselves because they're making more than they've ever made. And that can become problematic. So I don't disagree with you operationally and business-wise there, that there's a mentality to offering someone what they can handle, because to one of the things you and I talk about, Jason, people are like containers. We talk about Bruce Lee and we talk about be like water. But the thing is, there's a certain capacity that everyone has as a container to take on and handle certain things, whether it's workload or whether it's the energy that goes out in relationships, which is one of my personal things that I deal with. And also the capacity to take on a certain amount of what that money puts you on the hook for in terms of anxiety. Do I want to take the risk of dealing with this higher end client or this higher volume price versus your comfort level internally and what your personal perception is? So, you know, that's what I would say to that. But great points, Austin. And we're definitely going to have you back at some point. But I'm going to rotate you out, let someone else get in the seat. But it was great having you. Everyone, make sure you're following this guy. He's smart. And if you're creative, reach out to him. Austin, I actually want to do business with you.
Awesome, man.
Austin,
reach out to me.
DM me after this, or like tweet me or DM me after this, because we got to talk.
Cool. Talk to you later.
Great meeting you.
Yeah.
I heard him.
Yeah. I like him, but he's gonna be the devil on my shoulder. But I probably need that. Mr. Wonderful.
Yes,
how
can you hear me?
On this, then.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if that guy, you may not agree with him, but if he could sell you, then that's very valuable, and that's what he's bringing to the market. I mean, it's not easy selling if that's his skill, and you just want to do the art. Then that's what he's bringing to the table, and that's what he's offering. So.
Like I said, I didn't agree with him at first. I'm always open to. We lost Roberto. Oh no!
Wait, no, Did we?
You're gone.
It looks like we did. I'm so concerned. Did we take off the hat?
Sorry,
a little theater too.
It's my fault. Yeah, I mean, it's selling is I mean, making this stuff is easy compared to selling it. It's a really difficult thing. I mean, some people are very good at it. Some people.
Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, good. Guess who's back? Back again. Okay, yeah, but yeah, like I heard everything you guys were saying. Yes, making the stuff, like, I wouldn't say easy, but comparatively to selling it, depending on what your skill is.
Selling is an art itself, you know?
Yeah, the art of sale. Isn't that like a book?
Donald Trump.
Yeah. I want to thank Elise Brennan for tuning in. She's actually the business creative manager over at How Design and is actually the host of the How Design Live podcast. Thank you for tuning in, Elise. But yeah, and also a like tremendous creative herself, and she actually helps a lot with the business side of design. If she wants to jump in, Elise, you have an open seat. But yeah, going back to your point, Mr. Wonderful, well, actually, why don't you actually introduce yourself? What's your actual name, and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. My name is Eric, and I'm an art director and illustrator. I create the Gilded Age of New York.
Nice.
Like 1880 to 1910. I liked creating. It was a fascinating time in New York, like Tesla and Edison and Oscar Wilde, and it was a very innovative time, the beginning of the technology stage. And back then, New York was, really the center of the world, the original big city. I mean, it had the newspapers, it had the architecture, it had industry, it had the innovation, it had the entertainment. So I find myself fascinated by going around these buildings and kind of like going into them and kind of like feeling the vibe. And so I illustrate them, try to bring the historical aspects to a new market, and that's my thing. And
that's actually very cool.
Thank you. And I've been successful. I've sold my art on CB2 for wall art and shower curtains, but even that, even with that recognition, it's still not easy to market yourself. It's like every day you got to keep pushing it out. But
you seem like a perfect person to ask question number 4. What marketing strategies and platforms have been effective for you?
Well, originally Facebook was pretty cool. I was selling a lot of pieces back at a few years ago. I don't know if you remember a site called fab.com.
I think I do.
Yeah, it was sort of like the originator of kind of like flash mob selling. They had they put your stuff on for maybe 3 days, and that was it. And I did pretty well on that, and that was great. But I don't know. Now it's touch and go. I mean, sometimes I get sales from like India, or sometimes I get from Asia, but I'm not quite sure how did that work. You're trying to like. How did they find that out? It's difficult. I'm not that great in Twitter. I'm trying to like, how does this work? But Blab seems pretty cool because you could, you could put your visuals up. Yeah, exactly. And you put your visuals
on and
up.
Start talking.
Yeah, and there's a great. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cam Twist. It's
no.
It's sort of like you could put your desktop up. You could put your slideshows. So you could switch your camera to your desktop, and then and it's pretty cool. And so one of the things I was doing was kind of like the whole process. So I had a job the other day, and I began raw, and on Photoshop I was like putting together the piece. Maybe people would come in and watch what I'm doing, and I could like interact with them, and they could ask questions, and they could see what I'm up to. So I thought that was a really cool way to use the service, and it's great. I really dig it.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm thinking that Blab could be a really great platform for creatives. I know that in my situation is unique among creatives for the way that I'm doing things. And the thing is, in my case, I'm not just a designer. I do video, obviously. I do photography. I even still dabble in illustration, but keep that for myself. There's so many things that I do. Obviously, still web design, social media marketing. There's so many different types of creatives. I think when we talk about creatives, a lot of people kind of put that in a box, but there's so many ways to be a creative. You can be a freelance writer, you can be a marketer, and you're still a creative. And I think that the way we define that is interesting. We lost Jason, but he'll be back. His seat's still here since he's co-hosting. But yeah, I think that a lot of people almost like the creative community skews in some very finite directions. And I'm kind of not okay with that. So I'm trying to broaden it and open it up. It's part of the reason, even with my YouTube content, that I moved to a schedule that allowed me to talk about more than design and where I, scaled that to a very specific part of what I'm talking about so that I could reach more people and build the relationships I want, but then also I could help people with my experiences, because I've been more than a graphic designer in my life. I worked as a photographer at a studio, but then I also tried to start a freelance photography business as a full-time business. That didn't work out, but I learned from those failures, and I learned to be successful in being a better photographer for my own marketing purposes, and even as a business person, as a photographer, by failing at starting and running a full-time photography business, to realize that that was not for me. I think it made me a better video producer and a better designer later as a result. So we can learn from our failures, and it's good to explore your creativity. If you're a designer, you should probably try writing at some point to see if you can communicate beyond visually. You should also experiment with the mediums of photography to learn more about composition and lighting. So as an artist, whether you're a visual artist by hand, there's tremendous benefit to doing photography and then trying to draw things or look at things from your photographs and then replicate them in your drawings to become better at that, or even learn lighting if you're a painter. And there's just so much value in stretching your muscles creatively.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I don't know if you're familiar with this site called Live Coding, which is another, or Twitch. They're like live streaming, and it's really
but definitely make sure you put a link to that in the comment section, because I want people to have that for the notes.
Yeah, live coding is basically people coding, like JavaScript or games for iPhone, and real games, and they're just basically, it's a live feed of people just coding, and it's really fascinating. You watch these guys just go through the process, and they're doing it live, and Twitch is a bigger one, where it's got people gaming, or they're actually doing game development. And I think those sites are growing like crazy. And just like we were saying, I think people are interested in the process. And, if the word of the day is branding. So what is your brand? This is it. I'm putting stuff together. This is how I do it. And I guess people, maybe your fans or whatever, become intimate with the process, and like, oh, wow, he's doing another thing. And you're learning tips, and, it's about sharing and all that and helping out. And I was helping some guy out the other day with Cam Twist, and because someone helped me, and he was very appreciative. This guy was from London, another guy in Australia. It's like, wow, I'm just connecting with all these people. It's really a fascinating age where we have these crazy tools to connect with this global world, and it's just fascinating. We've never had these tools ever, and it's just, there are no rules anymore. It's just a really great technique, great tool.
No, I agree. Well, thank you so much for that. And feel free to sit in for the remainder, because we're probably going to cut out here in the next 5 or 10 minutes just because we got started a little late due to technical difficulties. But I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank the people who did go ahead and respond to the questions in the comment section and in Twitter. And I'm definitely going to go back and look over the comments, and also look over everything in Twitter, and try and get back to people, favorite and like the question and answer portion that you guys did there. So thank you for that. I really want to know in the comment section how everybody enjoyed the live show, and what you guys would like to see as far as future topics. I don't know that this is going to be weekly yet. Since I'm more experimenting with the Blab platform, I might do another Create Awesome Live later this week. But if we do go weekly, I'll let you guys know what the bat day and bat channel and bat time is going to be for that. So definitely make sure you're staying tuned there. Make sure you're following Jason Leibman and myself. He is my co-host for today. And Jason and probably Felipe and Alyssa will probably alternating as co-hosts throughout the thing. But, that's going to be tremendous. But Jason's always welcome here on the show. And
I'll be stopping in even if I'm not chosen as the host that day. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, that's going to be a lot of fun. But, no, this was very cool to be able to use Blab in this way. It's interesting. I've been doing some Blabs with a lot of people that was interested in what Brian Fanzo was doing earlier, iSocial Fans, and actually was part of the Social Business Hour. They did a live stream and a Twitter chat today. He usually was doing that on Google Hangouts on Air, but I feel that Blab is the superior platform for that, because I was going to use Google Hangouts on Air as well to do something like that. But now I realize Blab is the superior platform now that it's here, so for that type of thing.
Right.
So I'm going to be doing more with that. I actually did a Blab, if you guys want to check it out, on Amy Schmittauer's Blab, Savvy Sexy Social. It's actually going to be on the Marketing Lifestyle podcast in a couple of weeks. So that was definitely a lot of fun. What else? I've been doing some blabs with Vincenzo Landino, tremendous marketer. You guys are not following him. You definitely should be. And make sure you're following everybody who was a guest here tonight in Blab. They all have a lot of value and a lot of stuff to add, and I'm really looking forward to having them as guests over on the Create Something Awesome Today podcast, which you guys can check out at createsomethingawesametoday.com. It's also in iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud because, you know, I'm a fan of being in all places at all times. So that's a lot of fun. And yeah, this is some pluggy McPluggers and stuff, but it's like if you guys are not getting the content, you're not getting the value. So do what you want with that. I'm marketing myself effectively at this point. So that's what we're doing. But yeah, no, I think this was a lot of fun.
You can follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, it's on the other side, Jason.
Is it? It's on the other side.
Yep, there you go. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun.
That they should fix because to me, it's on this side. It should be flipped even when I'm looking at it.
Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, everybody. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. We're about to go back off the record, so that's going to be it for the recording. Make sure you're catching the replay. Share it with friends. I'm debating whether or not to upload this to YouTube, but I think it'd be cool to get some of the YouTube audience over here to Blab. So maybe I'll do that, make them part of the tribe.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the test.
I believe so. So I think I'm going to do that. But yeah. This is Roberto Blake and Jason Leibman. And remember, guys, create something awesome today.